All right, Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome back into the Fan Cave where we talk about everything Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be round 5 of the 7 rounds in the NFL draft going into this 2021 season, where I'm going to be breaking down where I believe the Jaguars are going to look at position-wise, player-wise, in each of the rounds at their respective spots in the draft. Now, this is round 5, so the Jaguars have 2 different picks in this. So there's going to be a lot of players and a lot of information. So strap in. This is going to be a fun one. Starting us off on this list is a corner out of the FCS. His name is Robert Rochelle. He plays for Central Arkansas. Robert is a great player. He has 104 tackles, 6.5 of which went for tackles for loss, and over 20 passes defended, 10 interceptions. You want to talk about someone that has a knack for finding the football and just getting around it, being involved in plays. He is definitely someone that I would say belonged to be playing at the FBS level, was playing in an FCS school, but as they say, if you're good, they will find you. Draft scouts have found Robert Rochelle playing in Central Arkansas, and he was an all-star. If there is such a thing for the FCS. You know, he was nominated for the Buck Buchanan Award, which is one of the best defensive backs in the country. That just shows how great of an athlete Robert is, and I believe that every team likes to take a flyer on an FCS player throughout the draft. A couple of years ago, it was Quincy Williams out of Murray State, and now I believe the Jaguars will look at potentially adding some corner help in the latter half of this draft. And I believe Robert Rochelle is a great player to look at as he's shown brightly and in the FCS and got the attention of a lot of draft scouts throughout the league. Now, James Robinson was a diamond in the rough when they dug him out of Illinois State. It was a great day to be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. He was somebody that put a lot of fantasy teams on his back, and I believe there's going to be a couple other players that coming out in the later half of this draft that will have a similar impact on the league coming out of this 2021 draft class. And I believe a player by the name of Kalen Herbert out of Virginia Tech. That's where he's going to make his money, out of Virginia Tech. He is a 5-year running back. Played 4 years at Kansas. He's coming into Virginia Tech. He was lackluster. He wouldn't do anything great while at Kansas. Transfers to Virginia Tech and goes for 1,100 yards. Now, you might be saying, okay, Fan Cave, so he has 4 bad years. He has 1 good year. Why do we deserve to draft him? Because overall, at the time, Virginia Tech, 7.6 yards per attempt and 8 touchdowns. You can't ignore 7.5 plus yards per carry. That's great. You want to look at somebody that has a big play home run potential, and he doesn't have the great pull away speed that you really want to look for, but 7.5 yards a carry plus, you can't shake a stick at that. You do need to take a look at that. And there's going to be a lot of running backs in the latter half of this draft that deserve a lot of attention. I believe there might be a late run on running backs towards the latter half, starting us off with Khalil Robert. Now, just like I want to load the player cannon, the position cannon for the tight end position, I also want to do the same thing on the defensive line. And I believe there's a player by the name of Darius Stills coming out of West Virginia who is playing the defensive line, has a lot of potential to be a great developmental player. And when you look at his total stat line, 81 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, that he has the ability to play big. He has the big end. He has the ability to play defensive tackle as well. Also, he is the all-time tackle for loss leader at West Virginia. That, mind you, the Big 12 isn't exactly known for their stellar pass rush and ability to just attack the backfield. But whenever you have the ability to draft someone that is leading a school in a stat like tackle for loss, you have to, in my opinion, really, I would take the flyer on him. You take the flyer on at 145, see what Darius Stills can become, because whenever you look at him with 25.5 tackles for loss, you can't go wrong with that at all. I believe, he also has a great ability with his 2 passes defended and 1 interception. I remember back in the day when J.J. Watt and I believe it was Tom Brady was having to practice with tennis rackets over his offensive linemen's heads to simulate swatting balls. That is a player that Darius Stills has. That's a skill that he already has, and it shows with his 2 passes defended coming out of the defensive line position, as well as his 1 interception. So, hey, in the event of an injury on the in the secondary or on the wide receiving core, we can throw a big old Darius Stills in there, as he's got hands with that one interception. And Darius Stills would be a great pickup in the latter half of this draft, to say the least. Now, if this player's available this late in the draft to pick 170, I'm going to be ecstatic. If he's available at the back half of the 5th round, you sprint up there with this card. And it's the running back out of Oklahoma State University, Chuba Hubbard. Now, he's really well known for his sophomore standout season where he rushed for over 2,000 yards. Now, you think of great Oklahoma State running backs, your mind immediately should go to Barry Sanders. And I'm not trying to say that Chuba Hubbard is the second coming of Barry Sanders, to say the least. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there might be something in that in the Oklahoma State water around that area, and that's just making great running backs. Because 2,000 yards, it's an insane feat. I believe eight NFL running backs have ever done it in history. I don't know how many have done it in college, but without a doubt, great feat. Overall, almost 6 yards a carry as well. That that shows the level of consistency, and it's not just that. It's the 2,000 yard season really just carrying the workload of his stat lines. He's also 33 total touchdowns throughout his time at Oklahoma State over his 3 years there. Hey, 10 touchdowns a year. I will never be upset with 10 touchdowns a year out of any position on the offensive side of the ball, except quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is going to be, let's multiply that by 4 or 5. Screw it. Let's push the envelope. 60 touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence. Let's get crazy, right? So, Chuba Hubbard, 33 touchdowns overall, just under, I want to say, 6 yards in average on the carries, as well as a 2,000 yard notch in his belt. You can't go wrong with 2,000 yards. You got to look at him, because if there's even a glimmer of that 2,000 yard season still there, we'd have an insane two-headed monster in the backfield here in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, Jaguars fans, that is round 5. Be sure to go back and watch rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, as there's a lot of great information in them if you haven't already. And hey, maybe whenever that day comes around in the draft, you want to recap and you want a quick refresh on some players, you know where to find me. At Jags Fan Cave on Twitter, at Jags Fan Cave on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe as well, as it gets you entered into the signed Fred Taylor jersey giveaway. All you got to do is subscribe, 100% free. Hey, and it also makes you a member of the Jags Fan Cave community. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing your comments down in the comment section below. I love going back and forth with you guys. I love having these little conversations with you guys. Truly makes my day whenever I see that someone's commented on a video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And at the end of the day, stay safe and go Jaguars.